All right, Shalom. First off, I want to start up by saying all praises, honor, and glory is due unto Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakadash. All praises to the world calls God, whose true name in Hebrew is Yahweh, by Hashem, meaning in the name, and Yahushai being the name of the only begotten Son. I also want to say double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to the hopeful elect, preaching this word in truth and sincerity. I'm the brother Tazabah in the Great Millstone, Arizona camp. Lord will with another video to edify. I'm going to get right up into this.
And the forces that is in the Ukraine are the special forces, man. You know? And what they did was they were putting the dead bodies in the back of their fucking SUVs, and they would drop them off and open up and just drag them out like their fucking clothes that are, you know, they were dragging them out and they were just throwing them on top of one another. Now there was one guy, his fucking brains got blown out. You see his brains to the side, the whole brain matter, and you see his head open up, and you see the wind, like his head is cutting the fucking, like, you know,
like a chimney,
exactly,
like a vent, yeah,
man. And they didn't have no look of remorse for me. Like, yeah, you motherfuckers, and they're the same people, man.
Yeah.
They're the same people. So now, when I was watching that, I was saying that's what we're gonna do in the kingdom with them Edomites, right?
Yeah. See, and I, you know, through the Spirit, made the same statement at camp yesterday, and I referred it back to what one of the characters in this game I play said, and it was, yeah, here it is. From God of War, right? And when you play this game, during the gameplay, there's little scenes that you won't get from like just previews of the game where they're just talking, and he's putting his son up on game, and peep what he told his son.
Survive too.
Close your heart to it. On our journey, we will be attacked by all manner of creature. Close your heart to their desperation. Close your heart to their suffering. Do not allow yourself to feel for them. They will not feel for you.
See? We will not allow ourselves to feel for these nations. Now,
Black girl go, they're pushing her, they're not letting her go, they're not letting her go. Is it right? Is it right? They're not letting the black girl go. 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 They're not letting the black girl go.
You got to scream at the top of your lung, you don't got arms, and these devils won't let you live. And this is why the judgment of the Lord is going to come against you fucking devils, man. And we will not fail for you. When we get the power, when we're in our kingdom, right, we're going to exact judgment to the most upstanding point. We're going to do it according to the Lord. And when we don't show you any mercy, it's because you showed us no mercy. This is Obadiah 1:11, or 1:1. It says, the vision of Obadiah, thus said Yahweh, power concerning Edom, right? So this is how you know what Obadiah is speaking about. Now I'm going to jump down to 12. It says, but thou shouldest not have looked on the day of thy brother, and the day that he became a stranger. It says, neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction, neither shouldest thou have spoken so proudly, neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in a day of distress. And this is what these devils have done. They've erected monuments, art, music, all movies, all to the glorification of them beating down the nations, right? Beating down the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? They've made consistent slave movies, and they've always painted themselves in a likeness of a good light somehow in these slave movies. They've made movies about cowboys and so-called Indians to where they're sitting there just killing them, but they're justifying the cowboys, right? They've made old movies where Edomite cowboys going down to Mexico and everything like that, killing Jake in their own land and glorifying the fucking Edomite. You devils, man. And that's why when we get the power, when the Lord gives us the opportunity, we will not show any mercy. We will not open our heart to your cries and your desperation, your suffering. We will close that off. You know, mercy and remorse is not something we will show for what is going to be done to you. This is verse 13. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yeah, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. You see, these devils have consistently robbed, raped, pillaged, spoiled everything from the tribes. Everything from the so-called Negroes, Hispanic, and Native Americans. And somehow these simple-ass Christians will sit here and have a mindset as though we have to sit here and love them. Fuck that. It says verse 14, it says, neither shouldst thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. And I showed you a video of that. The only ones that are letting out of the Ukraine are Edomites. If you don't look like an Edomite, they leaving your ass there. And there's a lot of Jake, a lot of Israelites in Russia, in Ukraine, because they went over there for hope of work. They went over there because they wanted to get away from the Edomite oppression, during the prior to the civil rights movements and everything like that. There's documentaries, you can go watch those. And these devils will sit here and consistently oppress you no matter where you go. And cut you off. So the scriptures speak. It says, neither shouldst thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress, for the day of Yahweh is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. You see, the Lord is going to return all that violent dealing. Is going to return into our own pate, as the scriptures say. This is Amos 1:11. It says, thus say Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof. See, there's nothing going to stop the Lord from issuing his stark judgment. And he's going to use his people, the Lord, as the scriptures say, are going to use his people to issue forth judgment on you devils. Because he did pursue his brother with the sword and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually. He kept his wrath forever. These devils have consistently beaten the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans down. Right? It says, but I will send fire. I will send a fire upon Teman, which shall destroy the places of Basra. See, the Lord is going to burn you devils up. It's Isaiah 14:1. And it says, for Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel. He didn't mention the other nations within that mercy that's coming. It says, and set them in their own land, right? The Lord is going to set us in our own land. He's not going to give us no Balfour Declaration, right? We're not going to mete out some of the land to the Palestinians. No, we're going to have it all. It says, and the stranger shall be joined to them with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob, and the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of Yahweh for servants and handmaids. You other nations will go into captivity, you Edomites chiefly. It says, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they wore. Hey, that sounds like what happened in the captivity of the Israelites under you Edomites. All hell, man. But in the book of Revelation, it says, reward unto her double. We're going to give you double what you gave to us. For servants and handmaids, and shall take them captive, whose captives they wore, and they shall rule over their oppressors. In the book of Revelation, right, tells you how we're going to rule over our oppressors, man. Right? This is, let me go to that, Revelation 2. Jump right to it, 27. It says, and he shall, I'll start at 26. It says, and he that overcometh to keep my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations. And this is what we're doing. Nothing is deterring us from following the Heavenly Father. Right? So the Lord said what? He's going to give us power over the nations. Right? It says, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. As a vessel of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father. You see? We're going to rule you nations with a rod of iron because we've gotten the shit out of the stick long enough. When the Lord gives us, the gripping end of the stick, we're going to beat the shit out of you nations, man. This is Lamentation 1 and 21. It says, they have heard that I sigh. There is none to comfort me. All my enemies heard of my trouble. And that they've heard of our trouble because Vladimir Putin brings it up. They use Jake's suffering as a point to make a point, but they'll never do anything about it. Right? Vladimir Putin's brought up how these devils treat the so-called Negroes, the Spanish and Native Americans in the Americas. But they'll never sit there and send help. All these other foreign countries have done that when they wanted to. They'll use Jake's suffering as a means to make a point. But they'll never use it as a means to sit here and justify them getting something together to help us. Right? They've all heard of our trouble. It says, it's continuing on. It says, they are glad that thou hast done it. It says, and you nations are happy that we're on the bottom. Everywhere you go, we're hated. Nobody gives a fuck about a position in the state we're in. It says, thou wilt bring the day that thou hast called, and they shall be like unto me. The changing of places, man. The changing of places are coming, right? You're going to be at the bottom. You devils would be getting beat the hell up by the Israelites. Our children will enjoy making games of beating you devils up, just like you did with us, right? Esau had a fair game called Hit the Nigger Baby, where they just threw baseballs as hard as they could at Jake babies sitting on platforms while the mothers cried because they wanted their kids. Oh, we gonna make some games too, boy. I tell you. It says, let their wickedness come before thee, and do unto them as thou hast done unto me for all my transgressions. For my sighs are many, and my heart is faint. You see, dude, that's the payback's coming. And payback is a bitch. Ezekiel 25 and 14. If you got a problem with how I'm speaking, how I'm saying these things, you don't got to watch. Move along. Right? Jacob sit here and pick anything to become offended about. Hey, the Israelites in the ancient world, they were direct. The speech was harsh, but it was true. It's Ezekiel 25 and 14. I'll start at 13. It says, therefore, thus say Yahweh with power, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and I will cut off man and beast from it. And I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. It says, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel. You see, we will cut off our emotions. We will cut off our heart from allowing to feel for your suffering, your distress, your pain. Right? We're not going to allow that to happen. Right? The Lord is going to put it in us to have a heart that won't allow that to happen. It says, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury. Hey, when the scriptures talk about the judgment that came against the Israelites, the Lord said what? He would not pity us. So when we pull out the judgment against you Edomites, what are we going to do? We're not going to pity you. It says, they shall know my vengeance, say Yahweh. Thus say Yahweh, because that's it on that on Ezekiel. This is and I'll end it on this one. Right? Shows you that this is the state. This is gonna be the end day state of all you heathen, and you Edomites are gonna get to the worst. This is Joshua 10 and 23. It says, and they did so, and brought those 5 kings unto him out of the cave, and the king of Jerusalem, the king of the king of Hebron, the king of Jarmuth, the king of Lachish, and the king of Eglon. And it came to pass when they brought out those kings unto Joshua, that Joshua called all the men of Israel and said unto the captains of the men of war which went with him, come near, put your feet upon the necks of these kings. And they came near and put their feet upon the necks of them. And Joshua said unto them, fear not, be not dismayed, be strong and of good courage, for thus shall Yahweh do to all your enemies against whom you fight. And so the day's coming where our feet will be in the necks of you fucking heathen. And you will not be able to do anything. We will beat you to a damn pulp. Right? And it's going to be with spiritual power. So when the Lord raises us up, you devils are going down, 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 down. The hell that you're going to endure, and you will endure, is going to be immense. And we will not feel for you. Shalom.